Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I am Catherine Dordick, Senior Consultant with Spectrum Group, and I am joined by Randy Wostrowski, Director at Spectrum. And we're going to be discussing with you some interesting information regarding our most recent Millionaire and Affluent Investor Confidence Index, as well as our most recently published report on educating millionaires. So I will hand it over to Randy. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, Kathy. Thank you very much. I certainly appreciate that intro, and good morning or afternoon to everyone who's joining us today, depending on where you are. As Kathy mentioned, we're going to be talking about some of the recent data from our Affluent and Millionaire Confidence Index numbers, as well as our Educating Millionaires report. At the end, we do like to always remind you that some of these insights, both from our monthly indices as well as our recently published research reports, are highlighted in our monthly High Net Worth Insights newsletter. So please don't hesitate to reach out if there is an interest in discussing that with Kathy and myself. Here you can see the numbers from the May Affluent and Millionaire Investor Confidence Indices. The Millionaire number stayed flat from April to May of 2018, but it is up 5 points from a year ago in May of 2017. The Affluent Investor Confidence Index dropped a point and is flat year over year from May of 2017. So still both hanging in there. They have dropped in the past 2 months in a row now and are certainly starting to distance themselves from the highs, but still hanging in there tough. And here you can kind of see what has been going on over the past 12 months. Throughout 2018 so far, we did hit our high back in February when it got up to 18 for the Millionaire and then 12 for the Affluent Index. And it has gone down fairly continuously since then. As most of you, I'm sure, recall, that's when we really began seeing a great deal of volatility in the U.S. Financial markets. And although things have calmed down a little bit since then, there are certainly still some jitters that are around for both the affluent and millionaire investing community. Talking about our household outlook, it did go up from 23.5 to just below 26 from April to May. There are 4 different components that this outlook is comprised of. That would be the household income, the economy, company health, and household assets. As you can see there, both the household income changing from last month as well as year over year did see a drop. The economy had a great month-over-month pickup of 6 points from 15.2 to 21.2, as well as almost a 10-point increase since May of last year. Company health is up just under 3 points from last month and about 7.5 from a year ago. Household assets had a nice rise month over month, down 4 points from a year ago at this time. But again, the important thing is averaging and looking at all of those different components to see a household outlook increase of 2.5 points from April of 2018. Looking here at the story most affecting the economic outlook for the affluent and millionaire investing communities, you can see here that in May of this month, international problems has really taken a considerable increase on the scene. Certainly there's a lot of discussion right now about President Trump's meeting with Kim Jong-un in Singapore, which is going to happen scheduled to happen a week from today. We'll see if it goes through. We're recording this on the 5th of June, and I believe it's supposed to be on June 12th when they connect and discuss a number of things, including the potential denuclearization of North Korea. So the political environment still here at home is something that is number 2 as far as most affecting an economic outlook. All others in May are certainly much lower than the political environment and the international problems. And you can see here, obviously, there are still many things that were much more concerning about a year or a year and a half ago, where you see the political environment in May of 2017, as well as in February of 2017, was certainly top of mind for many of these wealthy investors as well. But certainly the international showcase of 2 very, very important people to get together for the first time in a long time, that is something that is top of mind. When you're looking at retired versus non-retired, you can certainly see that those who are retired have a little bit more interest in both political, international, as well as the economy and stock market conditions. And then, of course, on the flip side of that, are much less concerned about the unemployment rate. Looking now at the affluent versus millionaires, you see it's almost consistent across the board. Very small 1 or 2% differences in the political environment and international. And then with the remaining 5 aspects there that we evaluate, they are consistent almost across the board. Now, when we go out to the field every month with our Affluent Millionaire Confidence Index, we do ask specific questions relative to preferences among these wealthy individuals and looking at how they are perceiving various investment options out there. Right now in May, both stocks and stock mutual funds are in the low to mid 30s. You see bonds sitting there below 10, bond mutual funds at 13.2, and then cash up to 22 from 20 in April. Real estate actually saw almost a 4.5-point jump since April. So that's certainly a pretty significant increase, while at the same time you can see from highs and lows across the board for all of these different asset classes. We're certainly not near reaching any of those. We'll continue to make sure that we monitor these in the coming months. And now I'm going to turn it over to Kathy to talk about our most recently surveyed research reports on educating millionaires, which we're going to have finalized, completed, and ready for client delivery, hopefully sometime here in the next couple of weeks. Kathy?
Thank you so much, Randy. As Randy was just discussing some of the concerns and preferences of our millionaires, we now are going to be switching a little bit over to kind of what their education level is. Some of the things that we're finding is that there's a bit of a problem with financial literacy in the United States. And the objective of this research was to determine kind of what that financial education level was with our growing population of millionaires. And one of the most startling pieces of information that came out of this research, which was conducted with investors of a net worth over $1 million and quizzed about their knowledge of financial and investment terms, is that nearly half of millionaires were not able to pass our survey and questions about financial literacy. And one thing that we found as we're looking at financial literacy is that millennials and self-directed investors definitely take more ownership with regard to educating themselves when it comes to financial education, as opposed to looking at their personal financial advisor to be giving them that education. Whereas, unsurprisingly, advisor-dependent investors and millionaires definitely do have quite a bit of expectation to their advisor to be able to provide them that financial education and knowledge. Also, when we were looking at education, we wanted to know what education have they previously done in the past. And interestingly, those occupations that are dedicated to education and to learning actually are the least likely occupation to have taken a class or any type of financial literacy education. Then looking at where they're wanting to know more about, some of the things that were very interesting is that millennials are seeking information on a variety of topics. They care quite a lot about long-term care, unsurprisingly retirement planning and asset allocation, where some of our older investors have more of an interest in some of the other topics where retirement planning may have already occurred for them and asset allocation is of less concern for them to educate themselves further on. Also, when we're looking at educating millionaires, a lot of advisors use a lot of different terminology and things like that. And a lot of what we found was that many terms that advisors use are unknown to their clients. It was fascinating that 2/3 of millionaires did not know something as simple as what indice tracks the largest number of companies. Over 2/3 of those millionaires were not aware of what the answer was to that question. Also looking at simple things that are coming about in this industry, such as robo-advisors. So for advisory firms that have robo-advisor platforms, they need to be aware that the vast majority of millionaire investors do not understand what a robo-advisor is or what they are or are not providing in this industry. As a reminder, a lot of this information that we share today in the webinar, as well as some further data about the research report, is highlighted in our High Net Worth Insights journal that is created monthly, and that provides a lot more further insight into the confidence indices, as well as this research report that's available on a monthly basis, as well as custom content and things like that, please be certain to reach out to Randy or I if you have any questions or interest in the topics that we covered or in the newsletter as well.
And once again, everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to join us for this look at some of our recent research. As Kathy mentioned, if there's anything at all that Spectrum can do to be of service to you, your firm, your practice, whatever the case may be, we are here to help in any way that we can. So don't hesitate to reach out and let us know. We look forward to joining you next month as we go over our June index numbers as well as some of our other recently published research. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day.